to one and all. On behalf of MAM College of Engineering Technology, I would like to welcome our webinar chief guest, Dr. Krishna Kumar, Dean Research and Development in Nagarjuna College of Engineering and Technology, Bangalore. Sir, welcome, sir. Now our finalist and Deepa will give you an introduction about our chief guest. Deepa?
Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
A warm good evening to all. I am Deepa. As today's webinar chief guest, Dr. Krishnan Kumar, sir, ex-scientist, CSIR, CECRI, and professor and dean R&D. He completed his BE Civil Engineering in Alahappa Chettiar College of Engineering and Technology at Karaikudi at 1985. His PhD in Alahappa University Karaikudi at 2003 on corrosion as field of specialization. CLAD in National Instruments at 2014. He has research experience as scientist in Central Electrochemical Research Institute, Karaikudi. He was a principal and director of MAMSET till 2013 and was a professor in MVJ College of Engineering till 2016. Currently, he is a professor and dean R&D and at Nagarjuna College of Engineering and Technology, Bangalore. His research interests are studies related to corrosion of steel with emphasis to structural behavior of construction infrastructures, development of new materials and methods for corrosion protection of steel in construction, rehabilitation of concrete structures including carbon fiber wrapping, and he has 7 patent rights. His awards are SMT Annapoma Awards for Best Paper in Corrosion Science 1993, CECRI Cash Award for Monograph in 1996, Best Technology Award First Prize for CPCC Systems in 1996, Book Publication First Prize in 1998, awarded by CECRI Karaikudi, Best International Paper Award in 2006, Sensors and Transducer magazines. He has published 19 papers in national and international conferences. Absolutely an inspiring person with fabulous skill sets. We are very happy to have you, sir, and we are waiting for the fantabulous upcoming webinar. I welcome you, sir. Over to Dr. Krishnan Kumar, sir.
Sir, voice, sir. We can't hear your voice, sir. Sir, voice.
Not audible, sir.
Not audible, sir.
கேக்குதா?
இப்ப கேக்குது, sir.
Okay. So, dear friends, this is overwhelming response for me. That is again homecoming. So, after my services in the MAMCET, then again I am coming to MAMCET to meet you people digitally. Thanks to COVID-19. So, dear friends, let us have some sharing of knowledge. I think this is the area of presentation is maybe some unique. It may be really useful for the practicing engineers, and this is only an introduction. So you have to develop from that further. So then you will acquire more knowledge about it. So now over to my presentation. Are you able to see my screen? I think you are not able to see my screen. I have to make present now. Yeah, your entire screen, and I have to make and share. Correct? Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now my presentation is seen.
Yes, sir. Slideshow. Oh, okay, sir. Now it's clear.
Yeah. So, my dear participants, today we are going to discuss about effect of corrosion on steel reinforcement for the durability of concrete structures. So, the subject is the steel corrosion in concrete, not in atmosphere. I am going to discuss entirely about steel reinforcement corrosion in concrete. That is different from the atmospheric corrosion of steel. So what are the effects and how to monitor and how to protect? All these things we'll try to complete. So within available time, we can share our experiences. So you are seeing now the corrosion problems categorized as a 4 different areas. One is industrial corrosion. Industrial field, the corrosion is happening. And another thing is shipbuildings and fortresses and all. Then transmission towers and power generation units and all. That inclusive of nuclear power corporation and so on. Then finally transport and the infrastructures. So the corrosion is initiating when the atmosphere is become aggressive. Automatically these 4 different areas, corrosion never stops. It will start. Your materials, it will start corroding. So the corrosion is the loss of metal. So when you have loss of metal, automatically you know that you have studied stresses and strain and so on. The material cross section is very, very important to take many mechanical properties. So in that cases, any deviation in cross section, automatically that reduces the strength carrying capacity also. So you can see here this photograph now shows this is one of the column. See, due to corrosion, what is happened? See, the stirrups and the main rod, almost all those things are of material by way of electrochemical reaction. Corrosion is the electrochemical reaction. So for making electrochemical reactions, there are different components are there. Any electrochemical cell, you may be having a 4 component. One is anode, another is cathode, and the electrolyte and the electrical continuity. If all the 4 satisfies, then electrochemical reaction happens. So mainly these are the factors, 4 factors predominantly that initiates the corrosion, that drives the corrosion. When you are talking about that are chloride concentration, oxygen concentration, and other environmental conditions. Environmental condition means the temperature around the atmosphere, the humidity, everything comes under that. So these are the phenomena that influences the corrosion. You can see that when you are having any industry or the structure, first and foremost, you can have the visual observation. Through the visual observation, you can able to identify whether the structure is corroded or not. Normally, beams or flexural members or any other thing, even the compression member also, the corrosion cracks occurs on the parallel to the reinforcement. The other structural cracks may be on perpendicular to the main reinforcement, but here this corrosion cracks occurs parallel to the main reinforcements. So these are the different types of corrosions happen. This is actually this photographs we took from Trichy BHL. We attended one consultancy. There we have seen that the structures are under corrosion. Now they have rectified, they are maintaining it properly now. So this is one of the other example, especially Kudankulam. You know, Kudankulam Atomic Power Station, the entire township, they have supplied seawater after RO treated, and they are supplying. During the treatment, there were some problems because of that corrosion is started. This is inside the water tank. Inside the water tank, you can see that this is the inlet outlet pumps and all these things, and these are the walls of the inside water tank. Leaching and corrosion product, everything deposited, all these things. So this is also a major problem. It has happened, but after successful auditing, we could be able to give a good suggestion. Then they have rectified it. So now as a civil engineer, we cannot see in one angle. So only the construction of any structure or something else. Now we have to foresee your structure, whether it is going to have a long durability, whether it is going to take up proper loading conditions. All these things you have to take into consideration, for which you have to have a very quality materials you have to use, and quality construction and quality maintenance. These are the things that are very much required. For example, Mandovi Bridge, I think you may be knowing about it, which is in Goa, Panjim. Now 2 bridges were there. This is before that there are only 1 bridge. That is called it as Old Mandovi Bridge. The construction took place between 1970 to 75. This is one of the case study I am going to share with you. That has 13 spans. Then total length is 2,237 feet long, and the structure is of balanced cantilever type. And first distress during 1980 by visual observation, they have observed it, and they approached the CSIRC lab, and the SICRI took consultancy, and they visited the site and made corrosion survey. They have seen that there are numerous falling, exposure of reinforcement, shively rusted bars, and so on. They have seen that. And transverse cracks, that means the parallel to the reinforcement cracks, have been noticed. So then the samples were taken, and in the laboratory analysis have been done. The chloride level is 0.1%. That is found. The pH value got reduced even up to 9.4. The cover thickness which is existing over there is very less. It's around 2 centimeter. And OCP, that is open circuit potential measurements made, that is more negative. This and all we are going to discuss in the further slides. CCR value means corrosion current rate, and CCR value, that is OCP with the resistivity measurement we have to calculate. And these are the open circuit potentials. Even it went up to minus 1050. It's very, very highly aggressive conditions. More corrosion is happened, then only this kind of open circuit potential may be coming. And CCR value also 10 to 26 is very high. The corrosion rate measured is 0.26 millimeter per year. It's just to check that 0.26 millimeter per year, it is very high level. And in the high tensile steel wires, which is used for the piece stressing operation, that also under corrosion. Then 2 spans were collapsed during 1986. So these are the things. This is the failure is mainly due to corrosion. Correspondingly, that Stoop consultancy, they have made some failure mechanism. You can see here this entire bridge is of balanced cantilever type, and even the last span also the counteracting load is given. This is the segmental type construction, and you can see that how it has happened. Because of the balanced cantilever type, when the load is coming, it is allowed to bend in the downward side. So if that is the case, the cantilever mean the main pre-stressing tendons were given to take up the flexure load, which is in the top. When being a segmental construction, whenever the deflection is happening, then that joint is opening up. This bridge is just above the backwater, is rich in seawater, and because of the wave action, there will be a completely mist formation. That atmospheric condition is completely as like your salt spray mist formation. It is completely rich with chloride and moisture content, and which rainwater also, whenever the rain is coming, that also coming over here. So all these things, there is deposition of the salt on the deck slab, and whenever the rain is coming, that is also flowing along with the chloride ion at the joint. And the main vulnerable place is the top tendon. It is started corroding. When keep on corroding, the reduction of cross section is happening. When the cross section reduction is happening, initially they might have designed for 80% proof stress. Then because of cross section reduction, it went to 90, 100, like that. Then what happened, you know very well, if it is more than 100% proof stress, automatically it will go for elastic level, and beyond the elastic level, then after that is going to fail. So because of one of the cable it is snapped, then automatically the load transfer with the other cables also not able to take up, that also got corroded. Then one segment got failed. If one segment is failing, automatically because of the balanced cantilever, the adjacent segments not able to withstand, that also getting failed. So these are the failure mechanism happen. So this is pure simplest form. Number one is, in those area, they should not have gone for balanced cantilever type, and also they should not have gone for segmental constructions. So these are the failure, learning from the failure, the design engineers they have got. Then accordingly, now all the two Mondovi bridges, now it is existed. So those bridges constructed by simply supported span with the girders without any segmental type. So now even now, that is around 97 they have commissioned. Now it's over the years, not having much effect. It is working very well. And another thing is, in this bridge, they have not made any protective system against the corrosion, but the new bridge which they have constructed, it is made of, it is corrosion protective coatings have been given to all the reinforcement, and monitoring system also incorporated. So now these bridges are serving better. So learning from failures. Another important thing in the concrete is CO2 is one of the major things that also causes degradation of the entire structure. For example, CO2, when it is attacking on the concrete surface, we know very well the concrete during the hydration, it has all C2S, C3S, and then so on, and CaOH2 is also developing. Because of CaOH2 is calcium hydroxide, which is available there. That is less amount is utilized during the hydration, and the major amount which is available inherently within the concrete mass. When CO2 is attacking, when CO2 is exposed on the concrete structure, that is reacting with the CaOH2, finally it is reaching to CaCO3. That CaCO3 is having a higher volume than CaCOH2, then that expands and it is getting a crack. So because of micro cracks throughout the mass of the concrete, that degrades the concrete. So that is called it as carbonation. So here you can see in the present situation how the CO2 pollution is going on. In the world level, now the CO2 pollution is 396.42 ppm, and this is then 2004 to 2013, the annual increase found is 2.1 ppm. In India, 2011, so you can see that 1.97 million metric tons. Any questions? Anybody wanted to talk? Yeah. Then in India is the fourth largest CO2 pollution happening due to fossil fuel that is emitting in the country. For example, in Bangalore alone, it is 390 ppm in the last 2 to 3 years. Now it may be more than that. So because of COVID, it got reduced also. Now I think after that again it will shoot up. Yes? Anybody? Yeah. Next is, what are the importance of corrosion? Why we have to worry about the corrosion? The corrosion will make economic losses, direct and indirect losses. When you're talking about direct losses, that is the replacement of corroded equipments or corroded segments or corroded structure, and labor charges and the material which is to be replaced. So these are all comes under the direct losses. When you are talking about indirect losses, because of during making the replacement that there may be a shutdown, The product contamination, loss of efficiency and compensation. Suppose if any accident is happened, we have to give a compensations. So these are the things now indirect. We can see that recently that Varanasi one bridge is collapsed. That's also due to corrosion. So like that now in our country, almost all the bridges is to be inspected and it has to be continued with proper maintenance. So that is the concern in the ministries they are thinking of. Next is human safety. So suppose if corrosion failure is a catastrophic, then the safety of human also is questionable, and the resources, conservation of resources also got reduced. So these are the main concern when you are having a corrosion in the infrastructure. So when you are talking about the corrosion, how the corrosion failure is happening during the life of any structure. So this is the universal model derived. So initiation period maybe depends upon the environment where the structure is. Suppose if it is in seashore, the initiation period will be less. And suppose if it is in inland, the initiation period is little more. So after the initiation, then once the corrosion is initiated, it starts propagating. So the propagation period also there, that's also depends upon the environment. Then the failure will be very short duration. No one can estimate and it will be a catastrophic failure. So these are the things. So with this model, what we can do? We can fit our structure based on the corrosion measurements. We can fix our structure whether it is in initiation stage or propagation stage or failure stage. Suppose for example, if it is initiation stage, then if any further maintenance is done, this initiation period can be extended. If it is propagation time, then it can be flattened and that period also can be extended. That is the way we can extend the durability of the structure. So very importantly, we have to maintain the concrete structure, either residential or industrial structure or strategic structures. Continuously we have to maintain. When you are properly maintaining, the structure will be long lasting. So this is, we said very clearly, corrosion is the electrochemical reaction. So when you are talking about the electrochemical reaction, this graph will give a beautiful idea about how our steel reinforcement which is lying in the concrete. So when you are seeing this figure, the pH of the concrete, it is more than 12.5. So if it is more than 12.5, then the line, for example, this line is coming over here. So you can see this portion comes under general corrosion, the corrosion to occur. If it is below this line, highly immunity, no corrosion will come. And after that, there is a perfect passive region, then transition and imperfect passive region. So now these are the very important thing to design about our concrete structure with respect to corrosion resistance. For example, in the perfect passive region, all our reinforcement going to lie. How it is in the perfect passive region? The tendency of steel reinforcement. The steel reinforcement we are using in the concrete, that is called it as mild steel or carbon steel. If more carbon is added, that is high carbon steel which is used for the pre-stressing steel. So now generally it is called it as mild steel. The mild steel is having carbon and ferrous. So now what is happening? The ferrous is going to act as an anode, the carbon is going to act as cathode. So now in this case, without any agent, the steel reinforcement inside, because of CaOH2S, we are having more than 12.5 pH in the concrete. So in that particular pH, automatically a passive film is forming on the surface of the steel reinforcement. Because of the passive film, that is one of the protective layer and also to improve the bond between the steel and the concrete. So these are the two jobs that passive film is doing. So both are advantages to us. As long as passive film is intact, we need not to worry about our structure. You can see that there are some chloride is coming over there. If the chloride is coming, that will react to the passive film. You can ask a question that why chloride has to come inside the concrete, inside the concrete and reach the steel. The reason is chloride is a halide ion, that is a negatively charged ion, that is Cl minus. And ferrous is Fe++, 2 plus is there. So always this negative ions is attracted to the positive ions, that too Fe++ is there. Suppose for example some other location, some other metal, some Fe+++ or 3 plus or 4 plus is there, this chloride will migrate to that level. But here the Fe++, 2 plus is there, so automatically the chloride is migrate towards to that level. So what it initially does, the chloride is coming in the form of NaCl, sodium chloride. So NaCl, what is happening now? The Fe, it is reacting with the Fe++ and it forms FeCl2. So like that, again this dissociates and it forms HCl also at that particular line. That reaction in the next slide I will be giving you. So chloride is the major factor which may easily migrating towards the steel reinforcement in the concrete through cover, and that disrupt the passive film and corrosion is initiated, further it is propagated. So that is the general mechanism of corrosion in steel reinforcement. You can see here, this is corrosion as a problem, is a general thing. The closer view of the reinforcement in the end we have made. So these are the portions anodic, these are the portions cathodic. How it is become cathodic, how it is become anodic. Whenever the chloride is coming over here, that area rich in conductivity, that is automatically become anodic area. The rest of the passive film which is still intact, which is acting as a cathodic area. Now when the anodic is formed, so I said 4 component is required for electrochemical reaction. One is anode, one is cathode, then the surrounding concrete, the hydrated concrete, passive film and the water together, that is acting as electrolyte. Here the metal, in the same metal anodes and cathodes are forming, that is electrical continuity. So all the 4 components were satisfied. Because of that, then electrochemical reaction is happening. So here the ferrous is releasing the ions Fe2 plus, and this electron is going there. Whatever the water is available and oxygen is available, it reacting and it is giving back to OH minus ions. So the Fe2 plus and OH minus ions together it form FeOH twice. That is the corrosion initiation. So like that, the corrosion is taking place as an electrochemical reaction. So you are seeing here, this is the electrochemical reaction. The anode reaction is like this. Initially, Fe is without any problem, Fe is quite good. When the Cl minus is coming, 2 times the Cl minus, because it has the valency of 2. So then what is happening? Automatically the Fe releases as plus and this 2 Cl minus, this electron that is going for the cathode side. So when you are going here, this forms FeCl2. The electron is not static, so it has to go. Initially the chloride is forming ferrous chloride, then automatically the electron is there, it has to close the circuit. So the electron is going to the cathode side and it is reacting with water, it gives OH minus ion. Finally the end product becomes like this, FeOH2 ferrous hydroxide and 2H plus, H2, sometimes H2, 2H plus is coming and 2 Cl minus. Then the end point you will get 2 HCl. hydrochloric acid. So when the hydrochloric acid is near the reinforcement, automatically further it is very much aggravating. The oxygen also creating the same way in higher fold, then finally they may have 12 times HCl formation. So this is the cathode reaction, whatever here the 2E minus, it is consumed here, the cathodic reaction is coming. So here what we can observe, the chloride is the major part which not only initiates, then that propagate the corrosion also. We have to avoid chloride to reach on the steel surface to protect our structure. That is the conclusion we can have here in the electrochemical reaction. So now I wanted to give you a small video. You can just see one video here. I think that is quite good. You will have an idea. Are you able to see that? I'll be getting it now. So this is the new structure when you are constructing without any effect of this thing. Now these are the oxygen, CaO2, all these together, it forms a passive film. Now the formation of the passive film over there, that is the protective oxide layer. It is there. As long as if it is there, there is no problem. When the chloride is coming in, the chloride tendency, it is moved nearer to attached to steel reinforcement because of Fe++. Then initially with water and all these things, it will start corroding. A good reinforcement, passivated reinforcement, it started corroding and it is propagating and it is reducing the cross section. You can see that the cross section reduction is happening. So the corrosion product is higher than the metal loss, so it exerts a pressure, then concrete gets cracking. You are seeing the crackings. That is the way cracking is occurred. Where is the least part is available, there the cracking is happening. Then the steel reinforcement is exposed, that also further corrosion, and finally the structure is going to fail. These are the general phenomena. And we have made, in our laboratory, we have done some studies. What is the effect of the steel, chloride in steel reinforcement? This is called it as polarization measurement. That steel reinforcement, we have 3 electrode system we have used in the laboratory cell. There we have from cathodic to anodic, we have made the polarization. You are seeing that there are different chloride level. The orange color is a control. Rest all the things are a different chloride content. When lesser chloride content, 1000 ppm of chloride is added, and the potential is gone to less negative, it is in the positive direction. And because if it is in the positive direction, only contamination is happened, there is no corrosion is happened. But slightly adding up 20,000 ppm, the green color, this is less shift when comparing to 1000 ppm. And further 25,000, 30,000 and 35,000, which are increasing the negative direction. So that means spontaneously the corrosion is happening, and also the corrosion is very aggressive when the chloride ion concentration is more. So here we have made a corrosion rate. Based on this, we have calculated the corrosion rate, how much corrosion rate is occurring in that particular solution, and we have mapped it. Here we can see that at 25,000 ppm, the corrosion is higher, very high. Then after beyond that level, the corrosion is not much. Then the question arises, even though higher ppm level is available, the corrosion is less. What is the reason? Because when the sufficient chloride is 25,000 ppm and it creates more corrosion, the maximum critical level of the corrosion, and it forms the corrosion product over the surface, then further corrosion is reduced. Further chloride cannot enter there because already occupied by 25,000 ppm, it is in the reaction. So the balance, whatever available, that is not having any effect. Then another question may also rise. Why 35,000 ppm? 35,000 ppm of chloride, which is the maximum available in the seawater. There are some journal references are available. So 35,000 ppm is the maximum limit. Beyond that level, there is no contamination of chloride. So that is why we have taken maximum 35,000 ppm. You can see another very important thing, open circuit potential. Before making the polarization, we have taken open circuit potential with respect to different contamination and all these things. So initially, the open circuit potential is minus 0.6 volts. And after that, immediately after 1000 ppm, it went to minus 0.2. What is the reason for this? Here, what is happening now? So because of the chloride is one of the very good conductor. Because of the conductivity, it went into higher potential. That means less negative. And further, chloride, adding up the chloride also, it goes on, and after that it is decreasing. Why this is decreasing? Because of the 25,000 ppm of chloride that already started corroding. Because of the corrosion, that the corrosion product formation that creates further resistance. Because of that, the conductivity reduces, and correspondingly they have got, I think, increasing of negative direction of the open circuit potential. So this is the understanding on this project. So this is the model. This is the general model how the corrosion is happening in steel reinforcement. The penetration of chloride ion that created corrosion product, a small cracks are forming. Further accumulation in the tube, then it is further having a cracks. If the cracks are more, then the concrete is getting loosened and it is falling out. So when the cracks, during the cracks and after the falling of the concrete, cover concrete, then only we understand, yeah, our structure is under corrosion. So we have to take necessary steps to overcome this. Okay, these are the things in a small model. This is normally happening. Now, so the corrosion has happened. We must understand what is the extent of the corrosion and where the corrosion is happening. So we are not knowing where our cover concrete and plaster, everything is there, but we don't know where the corrosion is taken. So we have to use some non-destructive testing method. The universally people used to have open circuit potential measurements using reference electrode. This is another way, it is called it as half cell measurement also. So in this case, what we have to do, number one, we have used saturated columnar electrode and surrounded with KCl rich solution, and one half cell is prepared like this, and after that the that is connected to the common, that is into the negative of the high impedance multi-impedance multimeter, and another end of the multimeter, that is in the positive node, connected to the steel reinforcement, and this reference electrode, which properly a grid formation mapping we have to do. So that grids and all we have to keep, and we have to measure in terms of voltages, either negative volts or positive volts. Then after that, we have to go for result interpretation. Very importantly, there are people available, there are so many people, they are ready to do all kind of these measurements. Measurements The equipments are available very well and people are doing the site measurements. But result interpretation is very, very important. If you are not properly interpreted your results, you cannot overcome the corrosion problem. So let us see how to overcome that, how to make result interpretation. So this is this table derived based on the ASTM C876. So there they have completely given for hydrogen electrode base. Now here we have given for saturated calomel electrode and copper sulfate electrode, like that we have given. So the initially that suppose if the more negative potentials, it has greater than 90% corrosion to occur. Probability of corrosion is greater than 90. And in between this level, the uncertainty, that is still it is under initiation period only. So if it is greater than 90%, mean it may be in the propagation period. If it is in the OCP level, is a normal OCP level, then it is less than probability of the corrosion. So with this idea, we can able to identify where are the hot spots, where we have to make a repair, how to make a repair, everything we can design based on the data which is measured by the open circuit potential. So this is the one software we developed for interpretation of the results. This software is based on LabVIEW. So here you can see that whatever the readings which we have taken in the grid points, we have fed into the FASA file and we have given to the software. And within a moment, we are able to get this kind of a mapping. In this mapping, there the table is there. There is beyond more negative, it is corroding, more positive is not corroding, like that. Here you can see directly where are the maximum negative points. The blue color is the maximum negative points. So these are the areas are corroding much. So there we can take our treatments. So like that, where are the hot spots? Those hot spots we can take a treatment. So like that, the OCP mapping is very much useful for result interpretation. So this is also actually this work we have done in Bangalore, in one of the structures. This is deck slab and secondary beam, like that. So even beam and slab and all these things we have tested. So and we have given hotspots and they have repaired it. Now the structure is so good, still it is working good. Suppose for example, another important thing, this is called it as surface potential measurement. Earlier one is open circuit potential measurement. Now this is surface potential measurement. Earlier one, we need only one electrode, but connection to the steel reinforcement is required. So, but that is accurate than this measurement. This will give an idea. Only the surface contamination this will give. How much chloride, where it is contaminated, all these things this will give. But this will not give idea about the qualitative of the corrosion process. So here what we have to do, one of the electrode we have to keep it in a stationary and another electrode it has to move on the grid lines, and those readings again it has to be mapped, and the gray area that will give you about how maximum contamination of the chloride. So the maximum potential area, the zone, is the maximum contaminated chloride. That's the way we can do this. So these are the examples of the electrodes. For example, if new structure going to be constructed, what we can do, we can place these kind of electrodes very cheaper. These kind of electrodes they can place inside, and periodically you can check what is the corrosion rate, all these things. This is comes under 3 electrode system. This can be connected to the polarization measuring equipment, and that will give you directly the corrosion rate. Here also, this is another one. This is the potential measurement electrode. This is solid electrodes. So this also can be embedded during the construction, and that will give you the potential ranges. So these kind of grids, if you are making, and you can make some online corrosion monitoring system also you can enable. So this is the one reference electrode. So earlier I have shown in my slides, we have used this saturated calomel electrode that is in the solutions. So we have a different problems. What are the main problems we face? Suppose if you are soffit of the any structure, if you want to take any measurement, what happens? The water, everything will spill. You will not get the conductivity and you will not get the open circuit potential. Then what to do? We have to go for solid electrolyte type reference electrode. So this is my team. My team they have done, and we have patented it also. Now we are waiting for the grant of the patent. It is on the evaluation stage. This need not to have any problem. Any of the location, you can keep the electrode and you can find the open circuit potential. That is the advantages of this new reference electrode. This is one of the photograph shows. I said in the Kudangalam Atomic Power Station, they are using drinking seawater as a drinking water after treatment of the RO. And this is the ground level storage tank. Immediately after the treatment, the water is coming here for storage. And you are seeing that all the corrosion stains all over the tank. And they referred us and we have gone there and we have found what is the causes for the corrosion, and that was eliminated and the new treatment is done. Even now it is working good. It's around 2004 we have done this job. Even now it is working very well in that particular treatment plant. This is the one, this is phenolphthalein indicator. So to measure the carbonation. So if any CO2 attack is there, then we have to make a carbonation measurement. Here we have to spray on the surface and we have to wet with the phenolphthalein indicator. If turns into pink color, then there is no carbonation. If it is not turned into pink color, carbonation is happening. But here is the situation is different. We took a cross section also and we have done the same thing, but inside it is got a pink color. Only the surface is not given a pink color. I think this is the corrosion deposits were there. Because of that, the alkalinity is not there. So that is why it is not turned into pink color. So this is we have tested here in Bangalore. These are the exposed rebars, and we wanted to see whether carbonation any problem is happened or not. Some of the locations carbonation is happened, and most of the locations carbonation is not a problem. There the corrosion is the major problem. And in Bangalore, do you think that this much heavy corrosion is happening? Yeah, any instruction, please? Shall I continue?
Yes, sir. You can proceed, sir.
Okay. So normally this is looks like the corrosion happened in seashore area. This is exactly in Bangalore. So how this much corrosion is happened? This is also one of the very important, interesting story. And we have after making our condition monitoring, and we found that above this structure there are water fountain is there and planter box is there, but they have not done proper waterproofing treatment for that. So whatever the water above which it is available, it is penetrating inside. And another important thing is, those days they have used filtered sand. Filtered sand is having a tendency to retain the water very nicely, and that is aiding the corrosion process because of the water flow within the concrete mass, and that gives rich in oxygen and the H2O, all these things, that also increases the corrosion. Need not to have the chloride inside. We have checked the chloride level there. There is no much higher level of the chloride, or less than the permissible level. But how the corrosion is happening here? That is because of the water seepage. So now we have given a cautionary that, so whatever you have given already, the filtered sand, it has a silt is more. The silt tendency is hydrophilic material that will absorb more water, and that because of the absorbing water is like a siphonic action. a continuity of the water molecule chain and the continuity of the flow of water inside the concrete, that created all kind of a problem. So now we have given a suggestion that a proper waterproofing arrangements, then this problem is solved. They have done it around 1.5 crores they had spent, and they cleared it because the entire structure is around a 25-story building, and they have rectified it last year. I visited there. The structure seems very nice. This is one of the corrosion measuring system. This is called it as the Godring technique, the 3 electrode principle. This equipment is imported. It's around nearly 30 lakhs rupees we spend in the CSIR. And through this we have measured what are the corrosion rate inside all these things we measured. And correspondingly we compared the made analysis. So this is indigenously our CSIR SICRI has developed the corrosion rate measurement. Whatever we have seen in the previous one, the same job this is doing, but the cost of the equipment is very less. So this is actually one of the paper industry which is in Kerala, that is Kottayam Hindustan Newspaper Limited. There the corrosion problem, we attended there, and they are my ex-colleague, and we have assessed and we have given remedial measures for that. You see, this is the resistivity meter. So based on the resistivity also, we'll have a corrosion rate. Suppose the chloride is penetrated inside, that will have more conductivity, then resistivity will be less. If the chloride is not penetrated, resistivity will be higher. So based on this, we can able to analyze the structure is contaminated with more chloride or not. So this is another kind of a NDT. So these people all already retired. Now this is the cover thickness measurement that is our colleagues are doing. This is the surface potential, SP values. I said 2 electrodes is there because we are not able to get any connection from the inside steel reinforcement, and the grid is formed. And we have found the one is, this is the fixed one, and this is the movable one, and we found that surface potential measurements. So this mapping, already I have told you, we have made some mapping. The mapping can be used for any kind of such grid measurements. So surface potential measurements we can make, and for example resistivity also we can give it here, and you can make a mapping. You can make any kind of a mapping. OCP you can make a mapping. But here, this is one of the consultancy near Bangalore, and one construction, one housing construction they have made. During the concreting, after the removing of the shutters, they could see there is some honeycombing. The concrete is not made properly, but the contractor immediately they closed all the exposed rebar with the mortar and so on. When the client is coming over here and the outside they are seeing that it is the beam seems good, but if you are making any hammering or something else and it shows some hollowness inside, but they wanted to have how much hollowness is inside, what is the treatment we have to do, whether we have to dismantle or otherwise we have to rectify. These are the questions they raised, they given to us. We have made just 1 day measurement. And you can see that 2 types of measurements we have made. One is a rebound hammer measurement. Another is that ultrasonic pulse velocity measurement. Both the things says that the bottom area, wherever the greenish color, here the bluish color, it shows. So those area that contours which are under the honeycomb. So we have given these locations, this is made according to their scale, and we have given a suggestion that those locations they can make a grouting, the cement grout we told, and they have made a pakka grouting for those entire area, and you can see that in the bottom entirely those area has been shifted. So that all the wherever we have seen that all these things are now modified, that rebar, I mean hammer test also it shows very sound. So this is the way that non-destructive testing we can use, and we can utilize for any kind of a structure rectification. Now the question is coming. Okay, my structure is corroding, or otherwise I wanted to have a new structure. How to protect existing structure? How to protect, or new structure? How to protect? In the existing structure, you have to go for electrochemical method of protection. In the new structure, you can go for painting, you can go for admixtures, like that you can solve your structures. This is the same thing I have already discussed. The ferrous is it is splitting into ferrous ion and the electron. Instead of the 2e minus which is coming out, if you are give back 2e minus, that ceases the electron to come out. The ferrous will not come out because the one more 2e minus is coming over here, and that will not allow to take place of the ferrous ion dissolution. Instead, in those area, that oxide formation is happening, that passive flame further strengthening. So that is electrochemical way of protection. So now you can see that we have done some experiment on it. We have purposely we made some added some chloride in it, and we have made that is open circuit potential. These are the different chloride level. Okay, these are the different chloride level, and in the specimen itself, we took a specimen in the concrete, and we tested how much quantity of chloride is there in a control and as well as the protected one. In the control, what is happening? So that 300 ppm we have seen, these are the chloride level. After giving protection for all the three specimens, that chloride level is considerably reduced. So this duration is taken just 24 hours. Within 24 hours, this much we are able to reduce the chloride level. Means the same thing if you apply to your existing structure, we can able to remove all the chloride. That is called it as electrochemical chloride removal. It's also just like a cathodic protection. In your structure, you have to keep above the structure, you have to keep the anode and some lime solution we have to add, connect the anode to the negative direction, and the steel reinforcement you can connect to the negative, and the steel reinforcement connected to the negative, and supply a current. What happened? Whatever the chloride is there, it will migrate towards the negative side, migrate towards the positive side, because the external anode we have connected to the positive. So then automatically near the steel reinforcement, whatever the chloride is there, that will migrate to the surface level. That is coming into dissolution into that lime solution. So then finally that lime solution can be removed. So then after the electrochemical removal of process, then you can dry the surface and you can make complete painting, surface painting, all these things you can do for further nice protection of your structure. So then the polymers also making a great role in concrete for protecting against the corrosion. So how the polymers are used? Now for new structures, you can use a polymer as a binder. So we can have polymer concrete, polymer impregnation, and polymer bars, non-metallic bars. Like that, the three kind of things you can have. And as an admixtures, so polymer Portland cement concrete you can have. Normal concrete, you can add some polymers also, and it forms polymer Portland cement concrete. And the organic and inorganic inhibitors you can add. And the plasticizers. The polymers are making a great role as a plasticizer in concrete mixing. All are polymers. Now the next thing is coating. Coating to concrete and coating to steel. So these are the two varieties. So coating to concrete, every 3 years, depends upon the type of a coating. You have to again and again you have to recoat, and you have to maintain your structure, then your structure will be good. And the coating to steel, and this is for a new construction, the steel reinforcement you have to give a coating system that will not allow the chloride ion penetrated near the surface of the steel reinforcement. So when you are talking of the coating to steel, we have three types. One is inorganic, another is organic, another is composite system. So these are the three systems which is already available in India. So that we can discuss now. Comparison of coating system in steel reinforcement. So when you are talking about the steel reinforcement, we have this kind of a coating system available in India and elsewhere also. One is galvanized reinforcements people are using, especially in UK. So many construction they have used galvanized reinforcements. The problem is there without the galvanizing the bare rod, it will undergo corrosion. The corrosion product deposit over there, and the cracking is happening. Here, galvanized rebars, what is happening? The sacrificial protection. The galvanized zinc is giving a sacrificial protection, and the steel is safe. So in that cases, here the galvanized product, oxide product is forming, that will also create a crack. So where this kind of things can be used? Suppose a concrete is in immersed condition, then the sacrificial system, this kind of a galvanized reinforcements you can give. Suppose even galvanized oxides are forming, that will be dissolute as like a leaching, it will come out. So the cracking will not happen. So that can be recommended there. Then next one is fusion bonded epoxy coating is pure organic thing that will give a good look and very polished surface. So what is the problem in fusion bonded epoxy? Number one, this is during handling, it is taking some damages during bending, and the pouring of the concrete at least 3 meters above we are pouring the concrete, it is impacting on the coated surface. That created a small micro level damages, and without noticing that, we people are just kept it over there. Through that micro pore, that whatever the corroding and water which are going in, and it creates underfilm. It is accumulated in between steel surface and the coating. So because of the accumulation, and that started corroding. So this is called it as underfilm corrosion. This is experienced even in US. Andrade, they have published a paper in it, and it is very well proven. And another thing, suppose for example during transportation handling, people are using patch repairing. So the patch repairing, earlier they have used only fusion bonded powders in that they have used. Then during the repair, people are using epoxy. So that will create an adhesion problem. That is creating more adhesion problem. Another way, because of the adhesion problem, the bond between the coated rod and the concrete is questionable. It has only 0.85 times. But in some of other coatings, it has 1.2 times. How it is coming and all we'll see. That is called it as CPCC. Cement Polymer Composite Coating System overcomes the above. Now this is available. So this is we have invented during 93, and after that 97 this product have been launched, and from 97 it is used in the country, especially for railways and all the bridges. It is became a mandatory. People are now using this CPCC system over there. Even in Bangalore metro rails and all, that this particular system is used. So for this we have got our own patent. It is granted to us. Now that extensively we have studied during the development. You can see that uncoated. Number one is cement slurry. This is inorganic type of a coating system. It's a highly passive system. When this system applied on the concrete surface, what is happening? The first one, number one is uncoated. So this is the polarization curve. Corresponding E value is nearly 0.7 to 0.8. But when you apply the cement slurry, highly passive system, it shifted to the more anodic. That means passive. More anodic, if it is goes, it is passive. And the second thing, uncoated is here, number one. And the fusion bonded epoxy is coated. and that also subjected that is not much difference. It is also slightly above because of the coating resistance. It's not much difference. But here, simple, this is CPCC coating system. This is control. You can see that it has a passive and as well as the barrier. Both protection this has. That is the advantages which is required for steel reinforcement. This is the mechanism used for developing that CPCC coating system. So what is CPCC coating system? It has a two-coat system, primer and sealing coat. These are the things. So we can apply by spray, we can apply by brush, or we can dip like that. But this is fast curing type. So the primer you can apply on the prepared surface of the steel reinforcement, and after that you can apply a sealing coat. Please you can mute. Hello. Yeah. Now this is the process. How to make. The surface is to be clean. Any kind of abrasive blasting, don't use acid cleaning. And after the surface preparation, within 4 hours, the primer coating is to be applied. The primer coat is of fast curing type. Within 30 minutes, you can go for the sealing coat. So when this thing is over, then within 6 hours, the coating is ready to be handled because that much fast drying coating system. So people can use for the construction immediately. So this is the prepared surface of the steel reinforcement. This photograph shows. Now this is the coated rods. It is kept for curing, just in the atmosphere. Suppose if rain is coming, no problem. That is advantages for this coating system. So it is kept for 6 hours. After the coating, it is stacked in the yard. The next day, this can be used for any construction purpose. You see that these are the completed stacked coated rod. They are simply we have to make stacking like this because abrasion should not happen on the coated reinforcement. So we have to have wooden plank like this, and over which we have to make a coated rod. We have to stack it, and this rod can be bent. This rod can be utilized for the construction. You see that this rod can be bent to any shape, but this have its own flexibility. It will not have any crack on these edges. Even though suppose any damages happen, that this is also liquid, that is also liquid, we can touch here, both are having the same property. This is actually some of the construction of the railway bridges. You see that one girder is casting, all the reinforcement are coated with that CPCC system. Now this is also one of the railway bridge. They are casting with that. So again, further casting is going on. See the concreting work the people are using, because this system is a composite system. It has polymer and as well as the cementitious. So in that cases, this will have a very high abrasion resistance. So in that case, as a conventional way, people can make concreting. So that will not make very detrimental effect. This is actually flyover construction at Mumbai. Yeah, these are the ASTM A775, 775M 94. These are the quality control standard specifications. So the test method all it passed, and these are the things are available. If anybody wanted to develop their coating system, it has to pass in this ISTM standard specification. You see that the coated rod, with that one small padding is done, and after that they are making a bending, so that there is no cracking or nothing. You see that there is no cracking at all. And when we are talking about the bond, so different bond system we have made. So this is the bond. We have to have a free end slip. So this is slipped. Then we have calculated bond between the coated rod and the concrete. So other system, barrier system also we have selected, but CPCC proven higher bond strength than the control specimen. You see that how the bond mechanism is happening here. Now this is the shield reinforcement. We have developed a primer. It has some inherent property of metallic ionic bonding of the primer to the steel surface. A pi bond effect is made. So that different is not like other barrier type of coating system. So the end group is NH4 and it will readily adsorb on the steel surface. And after that, the same polymer also available. Then sealing coating, their reactive cement particles are available. While the concrete is coming over there, when the concrete is getting hydrated, this also along with that it is getting hydrated. So a monolithic surface is happening. So the whole structure is become monolithic and it gives a good results. And how the corrosion mitigation mechanism. The earlier one is bond mechanism. This is corrosion prevention mechanism. Suppose, for example, you can see that due to concrete pouring or any other thing, if any small hole, a micro level hole is happened, that I blow here. So what is happening? No, if that is happening, then the Cl throw that Cl minus SO4, these things are going in and attacking on the surface. But here the things is different because whatever we have the primer is of hydrophobic in nature. So whenever the zone that the hole, micro hole is there, that is reduced by the hydrophobic effect. So when the Cl minus is coming, that cannot coming in because that will be repulsed. So in that case is so that negative ions are avoided, then the corrosion is not taken place. So when this coating system during end of 90s, so 98, 97 and all, the Mumbai flyovers have been given, and Gujarat also that CPCC coating system have been given, and earthquake happened now, so that CPCC coated bridge is not at all affected by any cracking on this. And also presently all the bridges, flyovers constructed using this one is not at all affected by corrosion. And Worli Bandra bridges also people have used this CPCC system. And all the railway bridges, they have used it. And this system has gone even to Sri Lanka and Middle East and all the places. And people have invited us from UK and we have presented there. And this kind of a system also developed there in the different way. So now this coating system is very well available. I think a new construction people, if you are using this, I think you can not bother about the corrosion damages. You see, this is the some of the examples of the bridges. We used the CPCC system for the flyovers. This is one of the array flyovers. These are the another near Chembur, and this is near Airoli. So like that, so many bridges have been constructed. Still, I can talk more. I think I am interested for your questions, answer to your questions. So now let us go for a question hour.
Participants, any questions?
Any questions, please?
Participants, any questions?
Participants, any questions?
Do you enjoy the lecture? Do you enjoy the lecture?
Yes, sir. The lecture was very informative, sir. Very
Yes, sir.
nice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think if any queries is there, my mail ID, you can send a mail or my WhatsApp, you can send me any questions. My phone number is 897 130 1227. Once again, I repeat, 897 130 1227. So with regard to any corrosion of steel in concrete, you can ask questions. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, sir. Okay.
We can wind up, madam. Thank you
Okay,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you, sir. A very nice presentation, very informative lecture. I would like to thank all the participants also for patient listening. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. Shall we wind
Thank
up?
you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.